Hello friends, today was Sunday and I was spending some time to understand what is the gravitational waves, the phenomena which has created such a big buzz around the world and which has been proven true since it was hypothesized by Albert Einstein around like century back in 1913. So Einstein was proved to true last week when we have actually proved that the waves which were detected in last September were actually the gravitational wave and was not any fake alarm. So that's a great news for us. So before let's understand what the gravitational force waves is. Actually, for me, when I understood when I read about gravitational waves, I actually wondered whether it would have created more space in my flat or would have taken my flat back in time to increase its value. Well, just kidding about my flat, but it's not about my flat because my flat is very small in this particular universe. But it's more about how our universe is being represented in a fabric of a space and time. Fabric of space and time. Yes, this is the word coined by Albert Einstein to make us understand what is the gravity is and how the gravity Albert Einstein represented, which was quite different from the gravitational force explained by Isaac Newton. The difference first, let us understand what was the difference in understanding of Isaac Newton and what Einstein has presented to us. Isaac Newton thought that time is a constant phenomena, and each and every part of the universe, the time remains constant. We don't really differ by times, though we differ. We could be positioned in different position in the universe as in space of the universe, but the time will remain constant. There, Einstein actually proved that no, time also varies as we go, as we can go to different spaces, we can go to different timing as well. Yes, that's true. How he explained is that whenever we consider as a time, then time is not something which is absolute. Rather, it is an individual concept. Time is an individual parameter, which means like that my time could be different from your time. I explain in this way: my time at now could be different from your time at now. While it's such a minuscule that between you and me we will not be able to find the difference, but when the things are very far, like two different stars or maybe like earth and sun, the two different objects which are accelerating at a very different speed, they could see that there is a difference in time. To make it understand, let us understand through an story or an analogy. For example, Earth want to date a sun, and Earth calls Sun and fix an appointment. Okay, I want to meet you at Orchard Road in, let's say, Shangri-La Hotel and the fourth floor at 6 p.m. Sun says fine, I will be there. But when you say 6 p.m., it is your 6 p.m. or my 6 p.m. Earth says, what? Is your 6 p.m. different from mine? Sun says, absolutely. How it is different? Sir explained in a way that where whatever you are able to see me now, it is your now, but it is my past. Because whenever I radiate sunshine, it takes 8 minutes. It takes 8 minutes to travel. It takes 8 minutes to travel from my end to your end. So whatever you are able to see me now, it is actually 8 minutes past me. So whatever you are seeing in your now is actually past of me. And if I am able to see you, then it will be future of you. If he goes to sun and see the earth, then definitely from the light philosophy again we will be able to see the past of earth only. But suppose our technology advanced in such a way that instead of seeing each other, we are able to sense each other, where we don't need the travel of a light, then definitely that is possible, that we are able to, at the sun is able to see the future of the earth, that after 8 minutes how would you look like, what would be the situation at the earth. So this way sun would be able to sense the earth and may be able to communicate it. This all depends on the technology. So there it comes, like your time is different from my time. Your now could be your past. Sorry, my now could be your past, and your past could be your now could be my future. So this is how we are actually having individual time. It's not constant. So same thing has been explained that time is actually the fourth dimension of the world. If we are positioned somewhere, then we need to tell our position in the space as well as in what time we are, because the time is more important. Time is equally important, as we could be in the same space, same position, but at the different point of times. So here we understood that time is actually time is not a constant, but it's a variable factor in the whole universe. That's why it was considered as a fourth dimension in this particular universe. But now, how to represent the fourth dimension? It is actually embedded in this particular universe. We are not able to represent it in terms of coordinates, but to make it simpler, Einstein given us a concept of a time-space fabric, where the space is there. Let's consider the whole space as a one particular coordinate, and time as another coordinate. The whole three-dimensional world is considered as a one particular coordinate, and time is another coordinate. And so now we have represented the space-time in the two-dimensional world. Then we can say that the space-time dimension, if it is represented as a two-dimensional world, then we can see it as a fabric. Why fabric? Because fabric has one quality, which makes it more interesting. Suppose you have got one fabric. Let's take example of a handkerchief. If it is suppose hanging in the air and you have string at its corners, then it is very, very straight. So you have got a very straight fabric. Now the property of the fabric is, if you put any mass on that, then it will bend. If you put any mass on the fabric, then it will bend. That is why Einstein is taking an example of a fabric, because in this particular space-time fabric, whenever any massive object is put, the space-time actually gets bent. And this is the way Einstein is able to prove the gravitational force in much more different way than Isaac Newton. Let's see how. Einstein say that there is a bend created in the fabric whenever the massive object is put on it, and whenever there is another object which comes in contact with the radius of that particular band created by another object, then it will start revolving around it. And that explains the gravitational force. That it is not because of the one object is attracting another object, it because the another object is within the radius of the band created by other object, it has started revolving around it. Maybe in elliptical order, as we see that moon revolves around the earth because the earth has created a band in the space-time fabric of this universe. In the same way, the earth revolves around the sun because the sun has created another band in this universe, which is much more bigger than the earth band, because sun is much more having a much more mass than the earth. So this explains what is the space-time fabric and how the things are revolving around each other, which is creating the gravitational force. So having understood the space-time fabric, now let us understand what are the gravitational waves. As we see that whenever there is a fabric and two particular objects start revolving around it, it actually creates the oscillation in that particular waves. The oscillations are small. Oscillations and amplitude of those oscillations may not be so high to detect them, but as these objects start coming closer to each other, then because of their band, they will actually start accelerating much more faster than their usual speed. They start swirling, and there will come a time when both will coalesce with each other, and that particular phenomena will create such a big, huge wave, which is having such a high amplitude that will travel all across the universe. So same thing happened around like 1.3 billion years ago when two massive black holes which were revolving around each other, which were revolving in each other band, actually get coalesced, and that created a huge gravitational wave that traveled all across to the earth. And that was actually measured by a LEGO laboratory. How we could measure it? It was using an instrument which was actually having a 4 kilometers pipe and perpendicular to each other. It was very sensitive instrument which was sensitive enough even to detect the smallest change in space and time. As we see that this particular instrument is positioned like this, and there are some waves which are coming across it, changes the space and time. If the space contracts, it can see the difference in time, because the time is measured by the laser beam which travel across that particular pipe. It measured that there was an incident, there was an event, but actually changed the space of that particular pipe, and this is how it was detected. So that explains the gravitational force, gravitational waves. That whenever some events are happening, such events are happening, then that is creating some waves, and that is impacting the space and time of our universe or of the planet we are living in. So this explains the gravitational force. I hope I have made attempt to give you more information about what the gravitational force is. If it might have added some more information to your knowledge, or if you are hearing sometime, it might have created some curiosity to know more about it. What is the Einstein theory of gravity, E equal to mc square theorems, and probably a gravitational waves. So thank you.